Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of RotoBaller. My co-host Nick Giffen of the Action Network. Denny Hamlin overcomes a speeding penalty after stage one at Las Vegas to go on lead 134 of the 267 laps in Sin City. Just about, well, it is exactly one lap or half a lap over half the race. But Denny Hamlin in victory lane twice in a row at Las Vegas. Once again, the outside pole sitter being the dominating car at Las Vegas. We talked about that last week, how often that happens. But a very good day and very good weekend for Joe Gibbs Racing overall. Hamlin got the win. Christopher Bell was on the pole. He finished fourth. Ty Gibbs came away with the top five finish. Chase Briscoe overcame a couple speeding penalties to charge up through and finish eighth after starting 18th. And then a good day for Hendrick Motorsports as well. We talked about the new Chevy body last week, whether that could make a difference in this race. Hendrick looked good. Larson looked good. He led for a while. He finished second in both stages. Chase Elliott came home with a second place finish. William Byron was third. And then RFK was also strong up there. Chris Buescher came home sixth. Brad Keselowski 10th. Ryan Preece 11th. Another race where those three were kind of just all together on speed. That organization seems to be making gains. But as I said, Denny Hamlin in victory lane once again at Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, Nick, I was reading and I saw Jeff Gluck's good race poll, and when I checked it before, it was sitting at 61%. When I was on TikTok earlier, I don't know if you know the Break Hard guy. I usually like his content, but so he made a video and basically said, this race wasn't that good, and went on to say, we saw all this passing, we saw all these battles, but the race wasn't good. And I commented on it and I said, okay, so we saw all this passing, including plenty of passes for the lead and the stages. We saw tire wear. We saw tire wear fall off. We saw strategy come into play with pits. What is there not to like? I don't understand why people are upset with this race. I think for what it was, yes, there was not any wrecks, which I think is the reason why people vote no on these polls, by the way. But outside of that, I don't know what more you could ask for from this race. We saw Chase Elliott hunting down Denny Hamlin potentially for the win at the end. We saw the tire wear come into play. We saw Hamlin get blown by Byron at the end of or before that final run. Like, I don't know what people want out of this race. At the end of the day, I think the best car won, which is good. Yeah. But I don't know what people want. I don't know what more people want.
I don't either. I thought the race was fine. It was it wasn't like crazy exciting, but we saw Hamlin come through the field. We saw Ty Gibbs come through the field. We saw passes for the lead, multiple passes for the lead. We saw Hamlin get passed for the lead and then himself pass for the lead, right? Byron passed Hamlin for the lead in their long run on the second to last stint. What do you want? People just want wrecks is what they want. They want wrecks. And restarts. And it's funny because people say it's all gimmicky and stuff, but then they want the gimmicks.
Right. So I think that's what we're conditioned to. But like you said, like this race, I was just surprised by the results that I'm seeing and the comments that I'm seeing after this, because was it the best Las Vegas race? Was it the best intermediate track race? No, absolutely not.
It was
good. Was it anywhere near average? I would put it well above average for what it is. That was a good race. I
agree.
I was watching it the entire time. So which I can't honestly say every week. Like usually I go and do something else and it's kind of just on in the background and I'm paying attention. I was glued to the TV for the most part. So no, I thought it was a good race. Plus, I'm usually not happy when Denny Hamlin wins, and I'm happy this week. So
yeah, happy this week because you hit some live bets on him. So GG's on that. I'm happy Denny Hamlin won because, I've usually for a long time been a fan of his. So, definitely good for him to get that win for the feel good story from the offseason and everything. And the championship race last year and everything, just a good feel good story to get Denny Hamlin that win. His mom coming out there on the track to celebrate, everything like that after what they've been through is huge for them. So massive shout outs there to Denny Hamlin. Like you said, Joe Gibbs Racing had a great day. Hendrick Motorsports was very strong. Chase Elliott there, of course, at the end We talked about how William Byron took the lead from Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson himself led a whole bunch of laps, faded at the end there, but was probably strongest through the middle portion of the race. So really strong day for Hendrick Motorsports. And then I talked about it last week. I said if I had to make one bet this time last week, I was going to take Chris Buescher for a top 10. RFK Racing showed up. Chris Buescher finished 6th. Brad Keselowski finished 10th. Ryan Preece finished 11th. So, if you look at the whole top finishing order, I mean, it's 2311 Joe Gibbs Racing, that alliance. It's Hendrick Motorsports, and it's RFK Racing. That's the whole top 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So kind of surprisingly, Team Penske wasn't there, including, I liked Brian Blaney on last week's episode going into it. Logano was not good all weekend. He was slow off the truck. He ended up finishing 15th. Blaney fell back, finished 16th. Cindric was up there fighting for the top 10 at the end of the stage too, but he started 31st. He ended up finishing 19th. Penske was not there this weekend. No. And we've seen that before at intermediate tracks last year, where sometimes they just miss it and they don't find it in the weekend typically. I think Blaney qualified 6th more due to his qualifying draw than he did actual speed. But yeah, as you said, it's the good organizations up front, and we saw that dominance. But yeah, RFK definitely and what's good about them is they're all similar speed. Keselowski started 28th, he still finished 10th because they all have that same speed. Preece was up in the top 10 all day. Buescher had the best car of them. He was the top 4 this weekend. I couldn't believe it. I'm sure you were watching the IndyCar race, but in my live stream, I forget who pointed it out, but Buescher was plus 340 for a top 10 on race day after qualifying 10th. Chris Buescher does not qualify well. I wish I wouldn't have been limited. I would have tried to just absolutely smash that line.
I pointed that out in the Action Network Discord as soon as it popped up, because I had written up Ty Gibbs top 5 plus 550 at FanDuel. And as soon as I tracked it, they took down the top 5 odds. The instant I tracked it, they took down the top 5 odds, and they took down the top 10 odds in the top 3. And they locked, FanDuel locked everything for a little while there. And then when they brought the top 10 odds back up, Buescher was plus 340. And I immediately told the Action Network Discord, I was like, I already tracked Buescher at 220 midweek. I'm not going to track him again at 340, but I just maxed him at FanDuel for plus 340. And I suggest you do the same. I don't remember the exact wording I said, but I was like, Buescher plus 340 is an absolute smash. So all of us were on Buescher plus 340. It was absolutely outrageous. I had him, I believe, where is my simulations from that race? Let's get the simulation results. I believe I had him around 50%. I had him 51.2% for a top 10 finish after practice and qualifying, and he was plus 340. That's crazy.
I know when I was on the live stream, and that was a comment that came in, it said Buescher plus 340 top 10, and I'm like, that has to be a misprint. There's no way. I immediately went on my phone and I'm like, yes, you bet this immediately. You don't think about it, you bet it.
Yeah.
Just crazy. It was, and like you said, I hit some live bets in the race. Shout out to BetMGM for laying Hamlin 12-1 after a speeding penalty. You're not gonna. I'm never gonna pass up taking the best car in the field at 12-1 because of a speeding penalty at the end of stage 1. Come on, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's these books. They're still mispricing stuff, and we still have to take advantage of it. And I'm glad that a lot of people did. I feel like just from NASCAR Twitter after the race, there were a lot of people that made money on this race, and that's something that you always like to see.
Yeah. I feel like everybody nailed this race. I mean, me and you, Stevie, the Win the Race guys, Dale Tanhart, I saw him, had a great day. Everybody. I mean, just everybody crushed it. And that's what you like to see from a betting perspective.
Right.
So, part of that, it was because it was a air quote boring race for those people that thought it was boring. That's when the predictions that we all know, the good things that we all use and base our data and brains and picks and all that off of, that's when they hit. It's when the absolute chaos shit hits the fan, and those can be the really bad days unless you bet on some long shots. But I was mostly betting on favorites, and like Ty Gibbs to finish top 5 plus 550. He was a top 3 car in practice flags, and he backed it up in the race. He was a top 5 car in the race as well. So it's like just really non-chaotic stuff I was betting on. I was just betting on the race to play out like we all kind of thought it should, and then it did. And so that was really nice. And slayed the fucking IndyCar bets too, by the way.
Kyle Kirkwood with the win. That was okay. So that was awesome because I was hoping to be able to watch the race. I didn't quite get it. And then when I was on my live stream again, someone was like, Kirkwood's running down, was it Pillow or whoever for the lead? And I was able to then set up my phone and watch it as I was doing live stream. And that was just awesome. Plus, I mean, obviously, I bet Kirkwood because you told me to bet Kirkwood. But yeah, that was cool to see as well.
Dude, it was a crazy race. It stayed green the whole time until like 3 to go. There was a caution with like 3 or 4 to go. And then they did a 1 lap restart. So NASCAR does a green, white checkered. IndyCar just says, hey, if it's because IndyCar doesn't do overtime. They say, hey, if we restart in the last lap, we're restarting the last lap. And so then it went green for like a straightaway, and then cars behind him wrecked. So, but he was pulling away on that restart anyway. But I mean, Kyle, once those black tires went on, Kyle was on another planet. He was consistently 0.3 of a second to 1 full fucking second faster than Pillow per lap. And that was for literally more than half the race because they ran 4 stints. They ran 2 stints on the red, the soft tires, and then 2 stints on the black tires. And he did about 22 laps on each stint of black tires. So it's 44 of the 70 laps. So for 44 of the 70 laps, he was the fastest car on track, and it wasn't even close. The problem was on the reds, he was just kind of mad. And then the pit crew, it turns out there was probably an issue on the right rear wheel hub. They couldn't get the wheel nut to secure every time. So he lost seconds on like multiple seconds on every single pit stop. 3 pit stops, lost multiple seconds on all of them. He probably lost 7-8 seconds on pit road and still came from 12 seconds down to finish to get to more than 5 seconds ahead of Pillow at the time of that caution. He built a 5.5 second lead from a 12-second deficit. I mean, the dude was just flying. And imagine if he had those 7 or 8 seconds back from the pit stops. I mean, he would have been 13 seconds ahead. It was insane. And I mean, you know me. We talked about it last week on this pod. Like, I know Kyle Kirkwood. I know him. I told you, like, bet him when it opens. I don't care what the price is. Yeah, I'd bet it at 6. Yeah, I'd bet it at 4. And I ended up tracking it at 4 after second practice because he was that's where I saw he was like insane. I was like, even 4 is just an absolute steal. So then he qualified kind of poorly, and I tracked him again at plus 550. It was actually plus 650 at FanDuel, but I think I tracked it at plus 550 because I had already maxed out my FanDuel because that's where I tracked before. So I hit my max at FanDuel, and they don't let you add more even if the price changes. So yeah, and then as soon as he put the black tires on, he was 12 seconds down, and I saw that first out lap, like that first pace lap on the black tires. I went to Kalshi for the live trading stuff, and I just kept hitting Kirkwood for as much as I could without changing the price, because the IndyCar market isn't very liquid on there. So I would like bet it for like $15 because like if I did 16, it would actually go from like plus 1100 to plus 1000 because of what we call slippage, where there's not enough shares out there. The only other shares available are at lower prices. So, or worse odds if you want to convert it to betting odds. So, it was one of those things where I was just like betting $15 at a time, $50 at a time. And I ended up getting almost $200 on them at an average price of around 10.5 to 1 live. So that was pretty sick.
Yeah, that is. I wish so. He opened, and I DM'd you about it. Neither of us were able to get in on it. But he did open at DK at 10 to 1 this weekend, which is just. I wish I would have saw it, and I think I was about 20 minutes too late because I got a DM about it. Didn't see it for 23 minutes, so I'm sure it moved quick. But damn, I wish I could have got in on that. That would have been awesome.
Yep. I mean. That was an incredible race. I knew he was going to win. It wasn't a question in my mind. I knew he was going to win. He overcame, the bad pit stops and just destroyed, absolutely destroyed. Championship leader for the first time in his career. So super stoked about that. That's huge for him. 6th win of his career. And I mean, first, second, and fourth on the season. That's a 6 start to the season.
Yeah. 3 straight top, or what was it? First, second, and fourth, you said?
Yeah. First, second, and fourth.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually in reverse order, 4th, 2nd, and 1st.
So yeah, 3 straight top 5s for him. Speaking of 3 straight top 5s, Ty Gibbs, 3 straight top 5s after his 5th place run at Vegas this last weekend. So not to compare Ty Gibbs to Kyle Kirkwood, but I thought that was a nice little segue there. But yeah, awesome to see Kirkwood get the win and obviously put some money in our pockets. That's always fun as well. I wish Cauchy was legal for me here. I can't do it. So I haven't even looked at it. That's how much I don't know about it.
Yeah. It's it's just a trading market, kind of like you're trading on the stock market, but you're trading on anything. I mean, literally anything. Trading on the Oscars, trading on sports outcomes, trading on politics, I'm going to be trading on the chess candidates tournament in a week or two. Literally going to be trading on anything. You can trade on whether aliens will land on Earth in the next 2 years or something.
Really? That's wild. And I wonder how long it'll take the FanDuels of the world to add similar stuff like that to their offerings.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm honestly surprised that they haven't yet.
I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't either, but I'm mostly just building sports models, so I haven't really paid attention if they are. And I think DraftKings and FanDuel are getting into the prediction market stuff, though. I don't know the extent of it, but I think they are.
Gotcha.
Not my area of expertise.
But yeah, so Hamlin in victory lane at Vegas. Few guys that did not have good weeks. SVG finished last. He wrecked on lap 1 or almost wrecked on lap 1 and then just had a shitty day after that. Connor Zilish with another bad race. He finished 32nd. Kyle Busch did not have a good day, unfortunately for you, for 36 for 36. Not that I gained many points on you, but Kyle Busch finished 28th. Allmendinger, kind of expected more out of him at Las Vegas. He finished 24th. Let's see. And Suarez, or Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain, they kind of got into it after the race. Did you see that?
Yeah, I actually commented, amigos no mas. Not friends anymore. So, and I think Suarez even said in an interview that Ross is really two-faced. So
yeah, I saw that as well. But also I kind of enjoy this little hatred that Suarez has against Trackhouse this season. He doesn't give a single fuck this year.
No, he doesn't. And I love that. It's hilarious. I mean, yeah. And he can kind of back it up because Trackhouse was horrible this past weekend.
Yeah. They were not good.
Ross was battling Suarez on the closing laps, which means they were right there with Spire, and Spire used to be kind of behind Trackhouse. And SVG had the worst flags, even worse than Cody Ware, worse than anybody. He had the worst speed in that race. He spun at one point, but even even not counting the spin, right? Because he changed tires after that and stuff. He was just slow. Connor Zilish was slow. We know Ross is really good at intermediate tracks, and he's been in contention for wins at Vegas. Maybe even has one at Vegas. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Ross wasn't great at Vegas. He was just a mid-pack car.
And Vegas has been a great track for Ross in the next gen era.
Yeah, he's battled Joey Logano for the win. I think Logano won. He led the most laps in the second 2022 race. He had led the most laps in the first 2022 race. Finished 5th in 2023, 4th in 2024, 5th in 2025. He's a perennial top fiver. at Vegas and was just nowhere this weekend. Trackhouse was dog shit.
Yeah. Something to keep an eye on there for sure, because, like we said, Hendrick Chevrolets definitely had speed. Austin Dillon finished 12th. He had a decent race all race, started 11th, finished 12th. So something to keep an eye on, how these Chevys will do, because, Spire wasn't great either. I know there was some hype behind like Carson Hocevar this week. I know, especially by sportsbooks, he wasn't there speed wise. The highest finishing Spire car was Suarez in 18th, and then, Hocevar in 22nd. McDowell ended up 26th. So just overall a good race for the Chevys of Hendrick. But other than that, it wasn't very good for anybody else. So just something to keep an eye on there. Another noteworthy performance, Zane Smith finished 14th, top 15 finish. I know you wrote him up as your Paul Menard pick of the week, and I'm pretty sure that the guy that took down the 100,000 in the big GPP on DraftKings ended his lineup with Zane. So solid run there by my arch nemesis.
Yeah, good day for a lot of the guys that are dead to you, whether it's Zane Smith or, Christopher Bell. Decent day, not amazing, but he dominated at one point.
Won a stage.
Won a stage. So it was definitely a good day for some of the guys that have been at various points dead to you. Maybe not Ryan Blaney. I know at one point he was dead to you, I thought, but not lately. Denny Hamlin at one point in the career was dead to you, but not lately.
Yeah.
So, good day for the dead to Jordan guys.
Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, do you have anything else from Vegas before we move on to the point standings?
Real quick, just gonna peruse the results. I'm not sure why. Oh, there we go. Just perusing real quick. Yeah, Penske wasn't. It was interesting. Cindric was really good at the beginning, but then all of Penske kind of faded. I guess as RFK kind of got better, throughout the race.
Penske faded, and so did 2311.
Yeah, 2311 faded towards the end there as well. They were really good at the beginning of the race. But let me pull up the flags from that race and see if there's anything from just the speed itself. So I just need to go to select the race. So there's a jumble at the top for 5 cars in terms of flags. You can put them in almost any order you want. And this is adjusted. So Denny Hamlin coming through the field and stuff, it is adjusted, but, and the adjustment did adjust him upward, but Bell, Larson, Byron, and Elliott were all under a blanket for 1 through 5 in flags. That's how crazy it was. Now, obviously, I think just if we all kind of think about it, Denny Hamlin was certainly number 1. And in the, in the quantile version, Hamlin was number 1. In the speed version, he wasn't number 1 just because he had so many laps where he was coming through traffic. Even my traffic adjustment couldn't get him up enough. Kind of like I felt like with Connor Zilic at Coda. My traffic adjustment got him to 4th, but I actually thought he was a top 3 car. But on quantile, which basically says your ranking order each lap rather than your speed. So the slow speeds aren't like low outliers. They're more robust. So the quantile tends to be a little more robust. Denny Hamlin was number 1, Byron 2, Bell 3, Elliott 4, Larson 5. And then it was an absolute tier drop, like a drop in tier to actually 2 of the RFK guys in Priest, Busher, Gibbs, in that next tier. So Priest, Busher, and Gibbs were in the next tier in quantile. Now in speed, it was the same 3 drivers. So, and I lied. In the adjusted version, Chase Briscoe also joins that tier of Gibbs, Priest, and Busher. Chase Briscoe, Busher, and Priest, because Busher, of course, had to come through traffic with that speeding penalty, going a lap down, and all that stuff. So. I think it makes sense, right? Like the top 5 are the guys that were the 5 best throughout the race. At various points, it was Larson. At various points, it was Bell. At various points, it was Hamlin. Even at the end, it was Chase Elliott. And then there was that next tier of like Gibbs, Busher, Priest, and Briscoe. And I think that makes sense intuitively as well, just based off the full body of work of the race.
Yeah. And I think Briscoe might have been even faster if he didn't have so many issues in the race. Like,
yeah,
once he came from 2 laps down, he charged through there at the end to get up to 8th and then kind of stalled out. But overall, a good rebound by that team. But yeah,
that's why
the fast cars were fast.
That's why he ended up behind the big 5 and 6th in my adjusted flags. So that's why the adjusted flags is so cool, because it adjusts for tire wear. It adjusts for if you're running in traffic. It knows how much you're being slowed down in traffic. And so Chase Briscoe actually was the 6th best car at Las Vegas per flags.
Yep. Something to remember there for sure. But moving on to the point standings, no surprise, Tyler Reddick still number 1 with a healthy 61-point lead over new second place, Bubba Wallace, who has the most stage points this year at 53. Ryan Blaney falls a spot back to 3rd. Denny Hamlin jumps 8 spots to 4th. Chase Elliott 5th. Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chris Buescher, and Ty Gibbs, the top 10. And kind of like we expected, after we got past the first 2 weeks, and now that we're into past race 5, these points are starting to shake out, and the cream is rising to the top. The top drivers are getting them up there. No cause for concern. Obviously, Briscoe's still pretty far back. Could have been a lot worse if he didn't get those laps back, but he jumped 7 spots to 26th, 179 points behind the leader. Let me see here. SVG fell 11 spots to 16th. No surprise there. After you get 1 point for a last pace finish, that's going to happen. You're going to fall.
Love how you said last pace, because he was last in flags.
Yeah, last place. Yeah, just not a good day for SVG at all.
No.
But yeah, surprisingly though, Bubba Wallace 2nd in points and still without a top 5 finish this year.
Which, hey, he's kind of doing the Chase Elliott thing where you just finish like 5th to 10th every race, and that works, right? So Bubba Wallace's finish. Bubba Wallace just completed the 69 challenge. Let's go.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I finished 6th at Phoenix and 9th at Vegas. We have our first 69 challenge completion of the season. At least as far as I'm aware. I haven't looked at Xfinity, I haven't looked at trucks, and I haven't looked at IndyCar, but Wallace just completed the Cup 69 challenge, finishing 6th and then 9th. Yeah, he has a 10th, 8th, 11th, 6th, and 9th. Incredibly consistent.
And like I said, the most stage points this year. So he's running very well. He's just kind of maybe fading at the end or not getting the finish he deserves. Obviously, those finishes should start coming more for Bubba. He's been very good at Darlington. Obviously, we're not talking about that race yet. But overall, any surprises or takeaways / concerns from these point standings over the first 5 races of the year?
I will just say on the SVG point, right? We made it a point to talk about how well he performed at Phoenix, and then he was the absolute opposite dog shit at Las Vegas. So it still remains to be seen what his true oval form is. I know Phoenix and Las Vegas are different beasts, especially with different packages now and all that stuff, but it remains to be seen where he is. But he is gonna have to step it up from Las Vegas to have any shot at making the playoffs. We know he'll probably get a couple wins on the road courses. He didn't win COTA, of course, but he was 2nd. So he has some chances to still make the playoffs, but he can't rely on 3 road courses. He needs elsewhere to do well, because he's already dropped, like you said, 11 spots from 5th to 16th. So he has to.
He needs consistency,
and it wasn't there at Las Vegas. Similarly, Michael McDowell dropped, which is interesting because, Spire car and the Spire cars. It was interesting that Daniel Suarez was probably the best Spire car. Hosvar was good too. And actually, Hosvar and Suarez were dead even in all the flags. And then McDowell was not good. But Hosvar and Suarez were dead even in all the flags. But the thing is, that means they ranked 19th and 20th or in that ballpark. Justin Allgaier was even ahead of them. And Allgaier had, some mishaps But Allgaier, we talked about him, or I shouldn't say we talked about him, but I at least tweeted a graph showing, how really good he was in the long run. And because of some tire stuff, he ended up setting like over 30 fastest laps. But Allgaier was still just good, even when you adjust for the tire wear. He was a mid-pack car ahead of Hosvar and Suarez. But Hosvar and Suarez, Hosvar sitting 15th in points, Suarez 17th in points. That's about where they ran. So that's pretty interesting. They could be legitimate playoff contenders this year.
Yeah, you mentioned Allgaier. I think if his early issues, I think he spun earlier, he had a tire issue early. Without that, it would have been fun to see what he could do. Like you said, he was fast in practice and everything else.
Sped in pit road, and then for serving his speeding penalty,
sped twice
again.
Yeah. Yep. That was during the time in the broadcast where they just put the graphic on the screen of who had speeding penalties, but did not audibly mention it at all.
I liked how right at the start of the race, Mike Joy was like, William Byron and a few other drivers go into the rear of the field for failing inspection twice. And you're literally watching William Byron start the race in 8th place. And then he's like, my bad, wrong information. They lose their pit selection. Like, Mike Joy, get it together.
How? God, it's just embarrassing at this point.
Yeah. Get
him out of the booth. It's almost like Michael Waltrip's grid walk. Stop.
Love Mike Joy. He's always been a staple of NASCAR commentary, but it's been 3 or 4 years now that it's been intolerable, and it's getting worse. Intolerable, and it's getting worse.
It's the dog that you don't want to let go, but you got to put down because it's better for him. Just got to get it done. One thing, this doesn't have to do with the point standings or anything, but one thing I don't think enough people are talking about, Kyle Larson hasn't won a race in 29 races. He has not won since Kansas in May of last year, before the All-Star break.
Yep.
So we're coming up pretty quick on a full year of Kyle Larson not going to victory lane, which is just, like I said, I don't think enough people are talking about this. Not that he doesn't have a good chance.
He has a good chance this weekend. He has a good chance at Bristol. He has a good chance at Kansas. He has a good chance at Texas.
I was saying, we're sitting here saying this, but
maybe Glenn. But there are a couple of races, Martinsville and Talladega aren't likely to be wins for him. He's been getting much better at Martinsville. Let's be clear about that, but still usually isn't the best at Martinsville. So, we could definitely see a full year of no Kyle Larson win, which would be pretty wild.
Yeah, if he doesn't win this weekend at Darlington, then Martinsville, I mean, Hendrick's good there, but Larson isn't like top tier like he is at a Darlington or a Kansas. Bristol's Bristol, we don't know what we're going to see. And obviously his last win was at Kansas, so that could come. But then we got Talladega, Texas, Watkins. Like, it could potentially be a while before Kyle Larson gets to victory lane again. So,
but it could also be 4 of the next 6 races.
Yeah, right. Like it is.
So there's that too. And I think this is also a good point to make. It's kind of more of a Vegas rather than a point standings point, but we just finally saw the new Chevy body on an intermediate track, because we saw it on the shorter track package at Bowman Gray and at Phoenix. Saw it on a road course, which again is that the shorter track package, same package at least in terms of horsepower and downforce. We finally saw on the intermediate, and they were fine. I mean, Kyle Larson didn't go and dominate Las Vegas, but it maybe wasn't quite what they were last year, but he dominated a part of it. William Byron dominated a part of it. Chase Elliott almost dominated a part of it. Almost got the win there at the end. Justin Allgaier was really fast. So HMS looked fine. Spire looked fine, aside from McDowell. Austin Dillon looked really good. Nobody's talking about him, but
or how much he's outrunning Kyle Busch and a lot of those mid-tier guys.
Yeah.
And it's
the Chevys are competitive, even in the intermediates in the new body. It's just some teams or drivers have hit it more. Trackhouse hasn't quite hit it on the intermediate as much as Spire has. Spire seems to be performing everywhere, honestly. They're really good everywhere right now. They're not obviously Hendrick elite, but in terms of the Chevys, they might be the second best Chevy team right now.
Agree with you 100%. But I think, people talking, this is a good comment. It was weird how they made his car worse, almost like they made his car worse throughout the race. And it's usually the opposite with that 5 team. Because you remember, we always talk about if Larson is good off the truck, that team has such an ability to just make the car better throughout the day. And I agree with this. It's like they got a little bit better. He got to the lead because of Hamlin's speeding penalty. Like, I think if Hamlin was still up there, I don't think Larson would have led. But they also, I agree with this comment 100%. I think the 5 team is just a little off. And that's not to say that Larson's a bad driver or anything like that. I just think that they aren't 100% right now, all going in.
Yeah.
But Chase Elliott almost winning at Vegas in a track where he hasn't struggled, but he hasn't been great at, is still a sign that Hendrick Motorsports is completely fine.
Well, okay, and actually, I'll push back a little bit on the Larson only got the lead because Hamlin was in the back. Hamlin wasn't great for a few, especially early in the race. He fell back a little bit, behind Bell and I think even Ty Gibbs at one point. And then later in the race, he had that stint where he fell back. So, I think it's just a testament to Las Vegas itself, the track, the conditions, and a little bit this car. I mean, we had just a total mix of who was good at various points in that race, and I think that's awesome. It was the old comers and goers thing.
It was a great race.
It was an amazing
great race. It was a good race. It was a good race.
Honestly, I'd put it in the great category. I wouldn't say it's on the highest end of the great. It wasn't spectacular, elite, amazing, but I would say in the good to great scale, it's a borderline good great. And you just said it. I think you thought it was a good race too.
Yeah.
We're not saying it was amazing, spectacular, elite, whatever, but it was a great race. I'll say it. And at various points, like I said, there were 5, even maybe 6 drivers, Ty Gibbs potentially, who were the best at some point, or even Chase Briscoe. There were a lot of drivers that were really good in that race, but also were bad at points in that race. And it wasn't just from track position. They just fell off, and the track conditions changed, and then finally and you say this about the car at night, it doesn't perform as well. I thought when the shadows came in on that very last stint, right? Because Byron had passed Hamlin and was better on that second to last stint, but then the shadows really came in, the track really cooled off. I think that helped Denny Hamlin on that very last stint. So again, changing track conditions was an absolute important thing at Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. And the different tire strategies, everything else. And obviously we're going to see different tires, or not different tire strategies, but we're going to see a lot of tire fall off this upcoming weekend at Darlington. I have a question for you though. How much do you like Chase Briscoe this weekend? This is a random question.
I think a lot.
Okay. Go ahead and get on your phone, because 12-1 bet 365.
Yeah, betting that right now. That's
not
even
I
actually haven't fully run the model because of March Madness stuff. But there's not a chance in the world I'm not betting him at 12-1.
Yeah, I saw it when you were talking earlier and immediately hit it. I don't care how much bad luck they've had to start this year. Chase Briscoe at Darlington is getting bet.
I actually put a lot on it, but they're reviewing it. They don't normally review for me because I only use Bet365 to make stupid parlays and touchdown bets on NFL on purpose. And then I bet motorsports. Seriously. Yeah. So I actually have a healthy account there, but I put so much on, they actually reviewed that. So I'm waiting for that to go through, and then we'll see, and then I'll track it. But I'm going to track this in the Action app here.
They haven't let me get down anything significant on it since I slammed them for that McDowell pull bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I opened it, I was like, yeah, this we need to talk about this right now.
Yes. I'll give it a second, and then I'll track it. I'm going to close the app and open it and make sure it's still the same price, because you know my rules. All right, still 12-1. I'm tracking it right now. winner, Chase Briscoe. Bet 365. Go. Track. All right.
Same here. There we go. Live bet. Yeah.
Pays to listen to Stacking Dennys.
Yep. I noticed that as well because I opened up Caesars at the start of this episode, and like their lines I pretty much expected. You know, he's 650 at Caesar, but yeah, 12-1 is crazy. So get that while you can. I know it's going to move here soon if it hasn't already. But there we go. Live bet on Stacking Dennys. Chase Briscoe 12-1 to win. But
yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about that because I'm literally pulling it up right now. But in terms of average running position, finish, fastest laps, all those things, based off Darlington history and then other things history, Chase Briscoe is my number one dominator candidate based off of Darlington plus similar track history right now. He is literally my number one dominator candidate for this race so far. So that's pretty wild. He has his average finish is a little worse just because he has a higher rate of mishaps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like pure speed and dominator potential, Chase Briscoe is right up there.
Yeah, you look at the last 2 years at Darlington, in races that he hasn't had issues, he has 2 wins and a 5th place and just absolutely dominated the fall race last year.
Yep.
So 12-1. Again, I don't care what kind of bad luck this guy has. He just had a great car at Vegas. If he can qualify well here at Darlington, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a contender for the win. So
fully agree.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else from these point standings before we get to Darlington? Now that we've kind of teased
now that we've already gone to Darlington.
Yeah.
No, let's go to Darlington.
All right. So Darlington, the big story this weekend is going to be how much tire wear are we going to see? Because the way that these drivers are talking, there's almost a concern amongst them with how much tire wear there's going to be this week. Mm-hmm. Because I know several of them basically said we're going to be wrecking at the beginning of a run. You know, we're used to these teams and these drivers being out of control at the end of a run when the track has absolutely chewed up the tires. They're saying from the start, they're going to have a hard time controlling these cars. They don't know what to expect by the end of the run. They're expecting over 4 seconds of tire fall off or lap time fall off from these tires on Sunday, which makes handicapping this race very difficult. But we do know the drivers that are good at Darlington. Denny Hamlin's really good at Darlington. Kyle Larson is really good at Darlington. Tyler Reddick is amazing at Darlington. Yeah, there we go. 365 already moved it to 6. Tyler Reddick is great at Darlington. Chase Briscoe has won 2 of the last 3 at Darlington. We know who's good at Darlington. Chris Buescher's been really good at Darlington. William Byron has been great at Darlington. It's a lot of the same guys. It'll be interesting to see, though, if they continue to be good with a super high tire wear. Because, you know, we saw at Bristol over the last couple years, a couple races where tire wear got excessive and a lot more than what teams were expecting. And we saw different drivers perform well in that race, including Chase Briscoe, who led a bunch of laps in the fall race last year. But we also see some guys that surprise or could be some surprises here, including a guy we talked about last week, AJ Allmendinger, Eric Jones. I think we're once again have to talk about Eric Jones this weekend because of Legacy taking not a huge step forward, but a small step forward in speed. We know that Eric Jones is really good at Darlington. We know the Toyotas have speed this year. But right now, you know, you look at the odds across, I'll just pull up Caesars. A lot of these similar drivers, they have them basically under a blanket. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, they have Chase Briscoe up there. Obviously 365 didn't. But they have Hamlin at 5, Larson plus 550, Reddick at 6, Briscoe at plus 650, Byron at 7. Then you got Blaney and Bell at plus 850. And then there's a big gap and it goes down to Chase Elliott at 18-1, Bubba Wallace 22-1, Logano 25-1, Gibbs at 25-1. Do you agree with those odds on the massive difference in tier?
I will say not really, because I think there's a really good chance that there's some surprise drivers, some surprise speed. You mentioned, I mean, it's like Larson through Bell is 10 or shorter, and then all of a sudden it's 22, Bubba. Or Chase Elliott at 25, or Joey at 25, Ross at 25. We've seen those guys be good here. We've seen Carson Hocevar, Eric Jones, right? Like, we've seen guys be really good here. I don't agree with that massive tier jump thing, separation.
Now, is it much of a separation? Is it good enough of a separation to bet a Chase Elliott at 18-1, a Bubba Wallace at 22-1? Because Bubba's been solid here at Darlington. He hasn't quite, as far as like just running wise, he's been one of the best here over the last few years.
Tough to say. I haven't run my model yet. March Madness is, and that's why we're recording an hour earlier, right? Yep. I have an auction for March Madness coming up in 45 minutes. So it's tough to say. I don't know is my answer. And one thing that really interests me is, and I'm not saying for a bet, I'm not interested in betting it, but I'm really interested in what Ryan Blaney, what he's going to do. Because last year in the first Darlington race, he was number 1 in flags, in adjusted flags. And in the second Darlington race, he was number 10. So, I mean, he's averaged almost a top 5 car between the two races last year. He used to be terrible at Darlington, and he used to be terrible at Homestead. Now he's good at both. But we know a lot of the issue was the tire wear, because Richmond he was also really bad at. So if there's even more tire wear, is that going to be a problem for him? I'm just completely uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen in this race, and I'm excited, but I also don't think I want to bet a whole lot. If I do, I actually think I'm going to take some flyers on this teardrop, for lack of a better term. That's the title of this show today, is teardrop. I'll be looking probably at Bubba on back for this one.
So, what's interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how I view Darlington. I think there are a lot of guys that are always fast here, but the race winner and the top finishers aren't necessarily who they should be. A lot of stuff can get shaken up here, because you look at the next gen races here.
It's in all of history. I mean,
yeah, you look at the next gen races here. Chase Briscoe has 2
Regan
wins.
Smith, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not a who's who of racing who wins here.
Yeah, you look at the winners in the next gen era. So obviously Briscoe has 2. Larson has 1. Byron has 1. Hamlin has 1. Keselowski has a win. Logano has a win. And Eric Jones has a win. And if you remember back, like the Keselowski race, who was it? It was Buescher and who was battling? It was Chastain and Buescher, right? That were battling. And then Keselowski got them after the contact. Logano did not deserve to win that race, I don't think. There's like every Darlington race, like you said, every Darlington race it's predictable, but it's not. It's probably the best way to put this. Like, we know who's going to be fast, but that doesn't mean they're going to finish up there.
Looking at this second Darlington race last year, there's some wild fucking shit in this. Chase Briscoe was number 1 in flags, raw flags. I'm not talking track position or tire adjusted, just raw flags. Third was Eric Jones. I think for a legacy car, that's obviously unexpected, but we also know Eric Jones just destroys his track.
God, John Hunter Nemechek finished 4th in that race.
7th was AJ Allmendinger. 8th was John Hunter Nemechek. And 10th was Austin Cindric. 11th was Kyle Busch. in raw flags. Now, tire and track position adjusted. Jones was still third. John Hunter Nemechek was fourth. Cindric was eighth. Allmendinger was ninth. We're talking about John Hunter Nemechek, AJ Allmendinger, Kyle Busch, who had a terrible Vegas. These guys were the guys that were in the top 10 in speed, in true speed, last time we were here.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, and not that that's unpredictable, but like you're not expecting a John Hunter Nemechek to be top 5, just without massive chaos. But we saw it. Eric Jones, it's not that surprising. But even like having Allmendinger up there, yeah, this is a good track for him. But a 5th place run is still by far his best finish here.
You know who is not good, and I don't mean by a driver, I mean by a team. Hendrick Motorsports was not good the last time we were here. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a single driver in top 10 adjusted flags. They had Larson 11th, Byron 12th. And I mean, Alex Bowman was out to lunch, and Chase Elliott was mid-pack, little below mid-pack. He was like 22nd. 21st.
Which is, I don't remember.
And knowing the tire wear issues this car has had in the lower downforce package, the Chevy body, at least with HMS, right? We talked about it at Phoenix, talked about it at Bowman Gray. This is the same package we're running at Phoenix and Bowman Gray. It might be Fade Hendrick week.
Which is crazy to think of at this Byron's been awesome here. Larson's obviously Larson, but that's an early week take for sure. It makes sense. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't.
Yeah. Sorry, the Action Network Discord is Briscoe went 12-6 immediately. Well, we gave it live on the pod. Hope you're listening. I'm sure other people got to bet it before me because I had to pull it up, log in, place the bet, wait for it to get approved, So I think other people probably got it before me that were actively listening to Stacking Dennys.
There we go. Now, hopefully Briscoe brings it home. I do think so. So do you think Toyota is going to be the team to beat again this week?
I do.
Just with how much speed they had at Vegas, it's hard for me not to.
And they were the top 5 in adjusted flags in the most recent Darlington race. 6th was Ross Chastain, and then 7th was another Toyota, Denny Hamlin. So, yeah, I think Toyota's going to be the team to beat pretty clearly.
Mm-hmm. But no, I agree with you. When it comes to Ryan Blaney, I'm very interested to see how he does. As I said last week, I think Blaney is by far the best at managing his tires on a long run. I think they have something figured out with their setups that helps him with those long runs, which is obviously is going to play a key factor here this weekend at Darlington. So when it comes to this track, it is so unique. It is 1.366 miles in length, 2 completely different corners. What tracks are you looking at when it comes to similar venues to kind of get a comparison?
Yeah, and that's part of my new updated, improved model is my similarity weights feature, which goes into modeling everything. Number 1, Darlington. It's its own best comp. There is nothing better that you can do than comping Darlington to Darlington. But if you want other tracks, I'm just going to have to real quick grab the average of history of these. Number 1 is Darlington. Number 2 is Homestead with a 52.8% similarity score, 52.9% similarity score. Number 3 is Dover at a 32% similarity score. So, getting way out there now. Bristol at a 28.7%. Old Atlanta at 25.3%. Chicagoland, which again is not an existing track, 24.2%. And Fontana Auto Club at 21.6%. Those last 3 tracks, Atlanta, Chicagoland, and Fontana, have not been raced on in recent years, or at least Atlanta has, but it's been reconfigured to a super speedway. So really it's Bristol, Dover, Homestead, much less than Darlington itself. You could say Homestead makes up like a 50% Darlington, and Dover and Bristol make up around between a quarter and a third of a Darlington.
There we go. Yeah. I miss Auto Club too. That was one of my favorite.
That was a great track.
That was
that
so
was amazing.
good.
Great track. It was the reason that I got blocked by Steve O'Donnell. was Auto Club, because I tweeted at him that I didn't like seeing a tire shit show, because they had like one year where like tires were just getting exploded at Auto Club. It's like, I didn't like seeing this tire shit show because I worry about the safety of the drivers, and he blocked me for saying shit.
Soft.
Because I said shit show.
Jesus. All right, we talked about a lot of the favorites here. Give me some mid-tier guys that have your eye this week.
I think
what do we
most of them.
what do we think about Ty Gibbs this week?
Oh, you mean like that kind of a mid-tier driver?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't hate Ty Gibbs. If we look, again, just various metrics. If we take adjusted flags and do what I call a Bayesian version of it with Darlington and the similar tracks, he's 9th.
Mm-hmm.
He's 9th.
And you know what I really like about him?
But when you say mid-tier, I mean AJ Allmendinger 6th.
Yeah.
6th. AJ Allmendinger is 6th in my adjusted flags Bayesian track weighted metric. AJ Allmendinger is 6th. Because he's been so consistently good at Darlington and Homestead.
And it's like, at what
It's
point?
less upside, but it's like top 10. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not betting him 125 to 1 to win, but I'm
But
smashing the
top
fuck
10.
out of his top 10 when it opens.
Right. One thing I do like about going back to Gibbs, you mentioned Bristol being somewhat comparable track here. You go to the 2 races that we saw super high tire wear at Bristol.
He was really good at those.
He led 137 laps and 201 laps.
Yeah.
And he faded at the end. He finished 9th in one and 10th in the other, but he was the best car for a good chunk of those races.
And
finished
again, Bristol
got 3 stage wins.
Is a little more than a quarter of a Darlington in my weighting. So that gets, if we have 2 Darlingtons, 1 Homestead, and 2 Bristols and 2 Dovers, then it makes up, I have to do the math here, but you get the idea. It's like 2 for Darlington, 1 for Homestead, 0.67 and 0.5. So equals that divided by sum of all that. It still gets 12% weight. Like Bristol gets 12% weight overall. Ballpark, right? It's actually probably a little more, but yeah, it gets about 12% weight. It could be 12 and a half. It could be 11 and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood. But Bristol gets 12% weight, and he was really good, especially in those high tire wear Bristol races. And Darlington's high tire wear, Homestead's high tire wear. Dover's not, but it has some of those steep track characteristics, and the speed matches better than Bristol is. And I'm not saying the speed, because obviously Bristol's a half mile. I'm talking about the speed ordering of flags. So comparing a driver's flags at Bristol to a driver's flags at Darlington, it is based off your 0 to 1 scale ranking, right? Not like 150 miles an hour versus 90 miles an hour thing. It's scaled, so it's all directly comparable. So yeah, I think Ty Gibbs is really good at these tire wear tracks, and maybe he's not quite as good as Bristol, but the high tire wear stuff makes up so much percentage of that stuff, and he's been really good at all those places.
You know who finished 5th at Dover last year as well?
Was it Ty Gibbs?
Ty Gibbs. I'm talking myself into Ty Gibbs this weekend, and that's a scary thing because I hate the kid.
I agree.
That is a scary thing.
I agree.
Let's see here. Let's go to the
I'm exasperated at that Hendrick, performance or whatever. But like I said, Ty Gibbs is 9th. He's only, I'm not joking, he is 0.001 behind Kyle Larson in speed flags. So speed percentile, and again, a track position, tire adjusted speed flags based off the weighted history of those similar tracks.
Wow.
Because Kyle Larson, Hendrick, again, was not good in the most recent Darlington race, and that's the one that takes the most weight.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see because, we just look at Vegas this last weekend. Hamlin in victory lane last fall, boom, best car here again. Mm-hmm. I say it every year with this next gen car, things don't change a lot. The same guys are fast, and that's why I love Briscoe this week, because he's absolutely dominated here last fall.
So did Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick was fast as shit last fall as well. I know he only finished 4th, but when you tire adjust and track position adjusts, he was really fast also. He and Briscoe were the two clear best, and then Eric Jones was a clear 3rd in just pure speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look at that race last fall: Toyota, Chevrolet, Toyota. 6 of the top 7s were Toyotas. Highest finishing
in green flag speed or what?
In finish.
Oh, in finish. And they were also 6 of the top 7 in, or I should say 6 of the top 8 in flags, raw flags, not adjusted. But then again, in adjusted flags, they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the top 5 and 6 of the top 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Toyota race again. But I'm interested to see what the Fords do on the long run. As far as like a long shot, though, I have to give a shout out to our boy, not to win. This is not a long shot to win, but maybe come home with a top 10 finish. We got to give a shout out to our boy Todd Gilliland, who is actually pretty good here at Darlington. Mm-hmm. 8 career starts for him. 17th or better 5 times. And they're not flukes. These aren't fluke finishes. These are him actually running well. So keep an eye on Gilly this week.
I'll say this. So obviously the most recent Darlington race gets the most weight. And we know how good John Hunter Nemechek was in that race. But Gilly Gang is right there with John Hunter Nemechek and Carson Hocevar in terms of my main metric, which is your similarity weighted, recency weighted, tire and traffic weighted flags. I don't have a good way to describe all that, but like Gillen's right there with John Hunter Nemechek, who was just a top 7 or 8 car in the most recent Darlington race, and Carson Hocevar, who we know is Carson Hocevar at high tire wear tracks.
I'm going to go back to these high tire wear Bristol races. Do you remember who finished 6th in the first one?
John Hunter Nemechek.
Do you remember who finished 14th and finished 9th in stage 1 in the second one?
I'm guessing
John Hunter Nemechek.
John Hunter Nemechek. Yeah.
Solid run for him in both those races.
Yep. No, and the funny thing is there's a clear teardrop right after Nemechek, Gillen, and Hocevar. There's a clear tier drop title of the show. And there's just some guys that are not expected to run well.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, Noah Gregson, Zane Smith. Holy shit. Look who is so low on this. I have to go and look at some of these other races. There's no way. I mean, there is, but Christopher Bell.
Not good.
Not up there. Wow. That's surprising. And I mean, it makes sense because in the most recent Darlington race, he was, oh God, where was he? For all the amazingness that Toyota had, he was 22nd in flags, adjusted version, and 13th in raw.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened to him in that fall race last year.
Oh, I remember he had contact on pit road, but he did get adjusted upward for like flags cut off all of his laps after his contact. So let me pull up, because even prior to that, he wasn't amazing. He was just okay. Let me pull up the actual flags summary.
Yeah, him and Hocevar on pit road.
Yeah, he hit Hocevar, but I'm talking even prior to that, he was just like a 12th place car. Let me pull up. Where is the file that actually is? Here it is, NASCAR flag summary. So Christopher Bell, only had like 30-something% of laps that counted towards his favor. You know what I mean? Because after that, he was an unhealthy car.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Cindric sneaky good here too? Last 3 races, 12th, 11th, and 13th.
So this race is wide open, dude. Like maybe not for the win. Maybe it's probably still among those elite few drivers. Plus, your Jones and whatever. But
Busher, Keselowski.
Yes, but they weren't great in that most recent Darlington race, which gets the most weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm talking like your elite driver. And again, that's that whole drop in tier and odds that we see is after Bell, there's a massive drop to Bubba Wallace. But I'm saying if you look at that elite tier, the Larson, Briscoe, Byron, Reddick, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell tier, because that's before the big tier drop. There are other drivers that certainly can contend for this race. And I would say Jones, Bubba, but then it's kind of wild. It's like AJ Allmendinger in terms of just like flags is up there. I wouldn't say in eliteness, but in consistency. Ty Gibbs, it's wild. This race is wide open, and I don't want to bet a lot, but if I do, I think I'm going to sprinkle some longer shots.
You know what's funny is the first time and the second time that you said teardrop, I immediately went to like teardrop, like not.
Yeah, I exactly. That's the whole
drop.
point. The joke is like you drop the drop in tier, but then your teardrop.
No, here's a good comment. More excited for top 10 bets this week, and yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of value out there in top.
I agree. I think there's going to be a ton of value. Like, I mean, you could probably just looking at the outright odds on BetMGM. For example, like I believe I would just instantly smash AJ Allmendinger top 10, John Hunter Nemechek top 10, Eric Jones top 10, probably Carson Hocevar top 10, Ty Gibbs top 10. You know what I mean? I would probably smash all those guys top 10s if they scale it to the outright odds, which a lot of books do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just pulled up MGM. Looks pretty similar to what Caesars has here as far as their odds. Where does so you and I have both hit Eric Jones 50-1 here at Darlington in the past. He's at 50.
Mine was 80-1.
Oh yeah, yours was 80.
That statement. That was 80-1 when I got it.
Yeah. Where does Jones have to be this week to sprinkle on?
Honestly, I don't know. He's one of those weird guys where you have to wait those other tracks, right? The Homestead, the Darlington, the Homestead, the Bristol, the Dover kind of stuff. You have to wait it, but he's like not really good at those other tracks. So he gets like artificially weighted down, and he will artificially be too low in my model. There's just no way to overcome that because you have to bring in those other tracks. They have similarities to Darlington in some ways, but he is such a unique monster at Darlington. The model doesn't work for him. And that is just a product of how things go. And most other people use a lot more track history than I do. And Darlington is one of the ones I use the most track history on. And Jones will still get brought down on it. You know what I mean? There's just no way to avoid not pulling in a Homestead where he's just meh. Or a Bristol or a Dover, which are steeply banked tracks that have some similarity in some ways to Darlington based off of statistical analysis of data for the whole field. That's just how it goes. And Jones gets negatively impacted by that. So like my model is going to be low on Jones, period. There's literally no way possible to avoid that. I will just mentally bump him up. But even then, even with that said, right, Eric Jones in the massively adjusted version, I'm not going to say all the different things that go into it again, is 17th. But that's, I mean, under a blanket with, that's under a blanket. I'm talking a 5% blanket all the way up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. Right. So, but that's also tells you, I mean, 6th to Michael McDowell in whatever, 22nd plus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 22nd plus 5. So 27th. 6th to 27th is just one continuous tier. Yes, the higher part of the tier is better than the lower part of the tier, but I mean, it is. Darlington's going to be wild. I'm excited.
Yeah, I was just pulling. I did a really rough run of my numbers today, and yeah, Eric Jones, I got 19th, which again, you just have to mentally bump him up. Like there's, like you said, there's no way to overcome that stuff like that. So, I know you have to get going here soon, so we should get to our picks and stuff. Anything else that you have for Darlington?
No, I'm so excited for this race. I think it's gonna be incredible. The only thing I will say is at least it's Darlington, because a lot of the races in the past that were like really high tire wear, I'm talking like really high, like old Atlanta, and not the first year of Auto Club in the next gen, but that second year. It's so high tire wear that you're not on the aerodynamic edge. And there's just no wrecks. There's no, what the people want basically from Vegas, right? But the good thing is it's Darlington and you run at the wall. So you still kind of just fuck up. And it's so tight because there's only like 2.5 lanes before you go on the apron. And it's not as fast in the apron. So like, thank God it's Darlington, because I think we'll still get the excitement of just the fact of how it lays out and runs. But if it was in Atlanta or an old Auto Club with this tire wear or expected tire wear, it could be an absolute snoozer, but it's Darlington. So really excited about that. But let's get to those picks since that's all I got.
Oh, yeah. So neither of us did very well with our picks to win. You did better than I did at Las Vegas last weekend. I pulled the Joey Logano was going to steal this one. He did not. Finished 15th. You had Reddick, who, like we said, fell back. He finished 13th. It's your turn to go first again this week after we doubled up with mine. So who is your pick to win Darlington?
We already bet him.
There we go. Chase Briscoe. I like that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all. It's after we bet him.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to stick with the Toyota camp as well. And I'm just going to go at, I don't know anyone else I could go with. Hamlin goes back to back.
Nice. It's a good pick.
Going with Denny.
I'll tell you what, he still has it this year. That's awesome to see.
Did I hear that stat correctly? He has a win in 20 straight seasons.
That's not correct. That is absolutely not correct.
I swore I heard that somewhere.
No, it's 100% not correct because he had that winless season in 2018. It was 2018, and then they switched to a different downforce and horsepower package stuff in 2019, and he immediately had an amazing season. I actually wrote about that at Action Network. I was a freelancer then for Action Network. I wasn't like a full-time employee at Action Network, but I wrote about how he was going to have an amazing season, and then he did. But he was winless in 2018.
It was not 20 straight. It was 20 seasons, 20 different seasons with a win.
Yeah, exactly.
That is just wild. But yeah, not 20
Yeah,
straight.
it was
with 20 different seasons.
It was 2018 was his only winless season. Full-time season, let's say. Because 2005, he didn't win in his 7 starts.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going with Hamlin to win it this week. Who do you have for 36 or 36? I gained 10 points. Damn Suarez. He was running like 13th, and I'm like, hey, I might get a good decent finish out of him for 36 for 36. He ended up, I think, 18th. I got 19 points out of him. You got 9 points out of Kyle Busch. So I gained 10 on you. You still got a 77-point lead. Over double my points this year. You're at 147. I'm at 70. But who are you picking this week?
I mean, the question is, do I pick Jones or Briscoe, right?
Yeah.
And because, like, the only theory is, like, well, do you take him at Darlington 1 or Darlington 2?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about Darlington 2. It's 100 miles longer, which causes a little more chaos. It changes more. And that's the one that Eric Jones has been even better at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, of course,
say both of his wins are in the second one.
Yeah, but of course, Chase Briscoe has literally clinched out the Southern 500 with Stewart, the last 2 Southern 500s. So it's so hard to say what you fucking do here. I don't have a good choice between Eric Jones and Chase Briscoe. There needs to be some kind of differentiator. I think the differentiator I don't know. I don't know. You know what the differentiator almost should be is Phoenix. And you know why? Because of the package.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would have thought I would have said Phoenix should be the differentiator. So let me pull up flags for motherfucking Phoenix. What am I doing? Why is this the differentiator? That's welcome to Stacking Dennys. We do some crazy shit here. Phoenix was 760. Adjusted flags. Briscoe was 6th. Eric Jones was dog shit. We'll go Chase Briscoe. Especially seeing how fast he was at Vegas last week, too.
I like that pick. That's That's your first, I would say, top tier choice in 36 or 36. You took Logano at Phoenix, but Logano's like below the top tier. Man, I don't know what I want to do, whether I want to burn a top guy or kind of keep going with the junkie guys and get him out quick. I'll tell you what, I talked myself into him. I want to get him out. I was going to do him last week, or I was going to use him last week. I'm probably going to regret this. Give me Ty Gibbs for 36 for 36 at Darlington.
I got a good day from Ty Gibbs at Coda. I got a good day from him at Coda. I don't hate it, man. The only thing is, like, do you gamble on Ty Gibbs for Bristol, hoping there's a cold weather shedding tires race? But you can't ever like bank on that, you know?
Right. Yeah, we know the tires are going to be shredding.
I honestly like that pick. I liked my Kyle Busch pick last week, and that was horrible. By the way, so that's just how it goes, you know.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if Briscoe goes and dominates like he did in the fall last year, you're gonna have triple my points if Gibbs has a bad day, because he got max points this last race, 2 stage wins and the victory, just complete domination, 309 laps led.
Because I have 146 points, because obviously I didn't.
I get to 147 unless I put the numbers in here wrong. But
I have on our 36 for 36 site, like our NASCAR league, I have 98. And how many did Gibbs get at? Because that was the one I missed. Was Gibbs at?
He got 48.
48. So it should be 48 plus 98 is 146, right?
Yep. I obviously put in the wrong number somewhere.
Yeah. So I have 146, and you have what?
70.
Oh, so I'm already more than double you.
Oh yeah, you're killing me right now. So yeah, Briscoe goes and dominates this race, and Gibbs hits the wall on lap 7.
You know what's crazy? Somebody has 230 points in our league.
That is wild. I can't get in there right now. Like I said, I got a new computer, and I forget how I logged into 36 for 36. I'm gonna have to figure that out by the end of the.
There's somebody who's 230 fucking points in our fucking league. That is insane. That's awesome, but that's insane. That's 38 and a third points per race.
Yeah, that is, god dang. I wish we could see who picks who.
That would be the coolest thing, right? Because you could see like what they chose for every race. They probably used a bunch of lead drivers. I mean, I'm sure they used Reddick in one of the first 3 races.
Blaney at Phoenix.
You'd assume, yeah. Blaney or Bell at Phoenix. And
but at the end of the day, I mean, that's a hell of a start, and they got the points already, like.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want, though. You want that 50 whatever point day from Reddick or the 50 point day from Hamlin.
There's 2 different ways to play this game, and we're on the side of take the junk guys first, and then second half crush it. But
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm quite on that side. Like, I've already taken Gibbs, Logano, and
that's true.
Kyle Busch has the potential to be,
and now Briscoe.
Yeah, now Briscoe. So like, it didn't work out with Kyle Busch this weekend for me, because if I had, I don't know, whatever random driver, Ryan Preece, which is silly because you're trying to save Ryan Preece, right, for like a short flat. But like, if I had taken Ryan Preece this weekend, or Chris Buescher, or a Zane Smith, I saw somebody comment about Zane Smith, like, it feels bad that he only finished 14th. That's still going to be on Zane Smith's like way better finishes this year.
Oh yeah,
it's probably going to be in his top third of finishes.
Oh yeah,
like in point
because he's not one of those that consistently finishes up there.
Yeah,
like that's a good race for that team.
Yeah, so like, even if I'd taken like Zane Smith instead of Kyle Busch, I'd be doing a lot better right now. But that's the other thing, we're handicapped because we pick on Monday, and if I after practice and qualifying, I likely would have chosen Zane Smith or John Hunter Nemechek, or maybe somebody else. But like, I feel like Zane or John Hunter Nemechek were my top 2 choices.
entry list just dropped. We got the 66 back this week.
Yep.
Do we see Alex Bowman back this week?
That's why another reason why I haven't run my model yet, because I don't know what's happening in the 48. I've had to rerun it every week so far with it replacing.
I'm gonna
Bowman
guess
with
that he's
Alfredo
not.
or Allgaier. I'm gonna guess not too, but then you don't know who's gonna replace him. It's gonna be like Corey LaJoie or something, you know.
I bet it. Well, they seem pretty adamant that it's going to be Allgaier from here on out, but we'll see about that.
Allgaier was really good in Vegas, and I wish he didn't have those penalties because I think he would have been a top 12 to 15 car. Legitimately, I think he was a top 12 to 15 car.
Mm-hmm. Briscoe's sponsor this week is Freebird Southern Spring Water. Something noteworthy. You know me and checking out who the 19 sponsor is. Whatever happened to Auto Owners Insurance? Do they even sponsor anymore?
I don't know. Do they even exist anymore?
Did they leave with Truex?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you the first thing about any of that.
All right. You got anything else?
Kyle Kirkwood liked my story on Instagram. That's all I got. I got to go. I have my auction in 4 minutes. So,
oh, yeah.
Three and a half minutes.
Have fun with that. Good luck. Good luck to everybody this weekend at Darlington. We'll be back next week. Probably have to check on time because I'm not going to be home, but we'll figure it out. We'll let you know when we'll record.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out because you're going to Vegas.
Yep. I'll be in Vegas.
A week after the Vegas race.
Yeah. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Hey. All right.
At least you'll have Darlington.
See you guys.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited. So it went from real quick here. It went here in Ohio. It was 70 degrees yesterday, and right now it's snowing.
Shit.
And the forecast for Vegas is 100 degrees when I get in. So
they're supposed to be like 20 degrees above average. I read like Vegas is supposed to be 20 degrees above average in the coming days,
which is crazy because every time I go to Vegas, it's cold every time. So I'm excited for it to finally be warm.
Enjoy it.
So yeah. All right. Enjoy the race this weekend, guys, and we'll be back next week.
Good luck, everyone.
See ya.